Summary of the Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. Introduction. How often have you decided to start exercising more, eat healthier, or quit smoking? You might succeed for a few days, weeks, or even months, but eventually the craving for your old habits becomes too strong, and you revert to your previous behavior. This scenario is all too common. We often want to make changes but find it challenging to maintain them long term. If this resonates with you, you already understand the powerful influence habits have on your life. The Power of Habit explores how you can break bad habits and form positive ones by understanding how the human brain influences our daily decisions. You'll learn how habits control our actions, affect our society, and how to harness this knowledge to create life-changing habits. Chapter 1. The Habit Loop. Consider your morning routine. How do you start your day? Perhaps you drag yourself out of bed at an early hour, head to the kitchen, and start making coffee. You don't need to consciously think about each step because your brain has formed a habit that allows you to operate on autopilot. How does your brain enable you to make coffee without thinking, even when you're half asleep? Our habits are stored in the basal ganglia, a structure near the brainstem. To understand how this area helps form habits, let's look at a study by MIT researchers on mice in a T-shaped maze. The mice had to find chocolate placed at the end of the maze. Researchers tracked their brain activity as they navigated the maze. Initially, their brain activity was high as they explored, but it decreased as they learned to memorize the route to the chocolate. This process, called chunking, allows our brains to save energy by turning sequences of actions into automatic routines. Every habit can be broken down into 3 parts. The habit loop. It begins with a cue, which triggers the habit. For instance, your alarm clock ringing signals your brain to start the coffee-making routine. The routine involves the actions you take, like getting out of bed and preparing the coffee. Finally, there's the reward, such as enjoying a hot cup of coffee that wakes you up and helps you start your day. Once you experience the reward, your brain activity increases again, reinforcing the link between the cue and the routine. Habits are choices we deliberately make at some point, but then stop thinking about while continuing to do them daily. How many of your daily decisions are based on habits? It's surprising to realize that about 40% of our daily choices are habits. Understanding the habit loop is the first step to harnessing the power of habits. Chapter 2. The Golden Rule of Habit Change. Daily routines become integral parts of our lives as we navigate our daily grind. For example, you might have a specific coffee shop you visit every morning or a routine of going to the gym after work. These routines become habits, and while some are healthy, others can be harmful. For instance, stopping at a fast food restaurant every morning for a sugary drink and a high-calorie breakfast can quickly become a habit, leading to weight gain and health issues. Breaking a bad habit is challenging due to the craving for the reward at the end of the habit loop. To conquer bad habits, the habit loop must be adapted. Charles Duhigg discusses the case of Ray, the owner of a restaurant, who developed a drinking habit to cope with stress. Ray's habit loop included a cue, the end of a stressful day, a routine, drinking whiskey, and a reward, relaxation. To change his habit, Ray needed to replace the routine while keeping the cue and reward the same. Instead of drinking, Ray could swim in his pool to achieve the same relaxation, changing his routine and craving. Programs like Alcoholics Anonymous, AA, are successful because they help participants replace harmful routines with positive ones, like attending meetings and sharing experiences. However, replacing a routine might not be enough. Nurturing the new craving is also essential. Focusing on the cravings that drive our routines makes it easier to maintain new habits. Chapter 3. Adopting Keystone Habits. Change can be intimidating, especially within a large organization. When Paul O'Neill took over Alcoa in 1987, he faced skepticism by prioritizing workplace safety over profit and revenue. Initially met with doubt, O'Neill knew that some habits are more critical than others. These are called keystone habits, which can lead to success when focused on 1 or 2 priorities. These keystone habits act as small wins that create a domino effect of positive change. O'Neill's focus on worker safety led to improved communication and a productive, profitable organization. Despite initial skepticism, his approach was a huge success, increasing Alcoa's annual net income fivefold by the time he retired in 2000. Individuals can also benefit from keystone habits. For instance, Michael Phelps, the Olympic gold medalist swimmer, used visualization and calming techniques as his keystone habits, which helped him stand out. Research shows that developing keystone habits, like keeping a food journal, can lead to significant positive lifestyle changes. Chapter 4. The Significance of Willpower. Replacing bad habits with good ones is easier said than done. Willpower is essential for building important habits. In the 1960s, a famous Stanford study involving 4-year-olds and marshmallows demonstrated the significance of willpower. Those who resisted the marshmallow had better grades, were more popular, and were less likely to develop bad habits like drug addiction later in life. Willpower is not an innate trait, but a skill that can be developed over time. Practice makes perfect, and strengthening willpower can lead to success. For example, Starbucks found that employees who practiced handling stressful situations were better equipped to maintain their composure. The company developed the latte method: listen to the customer, acknowledge the complaint, take action, thank the customer, and explain why the situation occurred. This method helped baristas manage stress and maintain their willpower. Creating a plan and mentally preparing for obstacles can also strengthen willpower. For example, hip replacement patients who wrote down their recovery plans were more likely to overcome painful scenarios. Chapter 5. The Significance of Belief. Belief is crucial for forming new habits. Going to the gym alone is challenging, but having a gym buddy makes it easier. Group support and belief in something bigger than oneself are essential. Programs like Alcoholics Anonymous incorporate the belief in a higher power to help participants succeed. People are more likely to believe in groups, as seen in the civil rights movement sparked by Rosa Parks. Her strong social ties influenced others, leading to widespread participation and change. Belief and willpower are both necessary for habit change. Groups and supportive networks play a significant role in fostering belief and maintaining new habits. Chapter 6. Habits become your responsibility. Once you recognize the need to change your habits, it becomes your responsibility to take the necessary steps. Charles Duhigg presents 2 court cases to illustrate this point. In 2008, Brian Thomas strangled his wife during a sleep terror, believing he was protecting her from a burglar. His actions were automatic, driven by habit, and he was acquitted. In contrast, Angie Bachman, who was sued for gambling debts, recognized her habit but did not take steps to change her behavior. She lost her case. The difference between the 2 cases lies in the ability to control and change habits. While Thomas had no control over his actions during a sleep terror, Bachman had the free will to change her behavior. Recognizing and changing habits is essential for taking responsibility for your actions. Final summary. We all develop habits throughout our lives, both good and bad. Our routines become unconscious habits that follow a 3-step loop. Cue, routine, reward. Cravings for rewards make it difficult to break bad habits. But changing the routine while keeping the cue and reward the same can lead to success. Developing keystone habits and strengthening willpower are crucial for adopting positive habits. Belief, both in oneself and supported by groups, is essential for maintaining new habits. Ultimately, recognizing and changing habits is our responsibility, leading to a more successful and positive lifestyle. This has been a summary of The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg.